We're here with Laverne Henderson, and she is from Starbucks Community Garden, and she's a gardener in where she lives. So, Laverne, we were just talking about collards on the way up to your apartment, and I'd like you to tell that story, if you would, about the southern collards and how much better they are. Okay.
I am, first of all, I'm a lover of collard greens. I was raised on collard greens. And since I've been here, I haven't quite tasted any that taste like the ones down south. So we went down there to try to get some, bring some back in the summer, and it didn't work out. It was too hot. But you can always go down there during the fall or even the winter months like it is now, and you can get the best collard greens you ever want to taste. Now, where I live here, I have a garden, and I've been trying to find southern collard greens. I have found some from Georgia that was very good. Still not quite like the ones in St. Louis, but they were very good. And you know, if you season them right, they'll taste good.
So, do you think it's all the collard, or is it part preparation too?
It's part preparation.
Okay.
Yes, you have to prepare them right.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can be too greasy. You can put too much fat. They say the more fat, the better they taste, but I don't think so.
Okay.
You can. It's just the way you cook them.
Mm-hmm.
How do you cook them?
Yeah. How do you cook them?
Okay, first of all, you know, of course, you know, you clean them, you wash them, and then, and while you're doing that, you have your meat boiling. You season them in meat, and what I season mine with is turkey tails and smoked turkey wings or legs.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. And while that is boiling, you know, I get that meat almost done. And while that meat is cooking, I'm still washing and cleaning my greens. And when that meat get almost done, not quite all the way, then you put the greens over in the pot and just let them simmer and cook till they get done. And then I add a little crushed peppers. And then I add some sweet banana peppers.
Ooh.
And
I'm getting hungry now.
and they come out very, very tasteful.
So now, was this your recipe, or did you learn this from someone else?
I learned it from my mother.
Mm-hmm. So when did you start cooking greens?
At a very young age. It was 13 of us, 12 of us.
Oh.
So I used to watch my mother cook. I used to sit on a stool in the kitchen and watch her cook.
Oh.
And that's how she prepared her greens from the garden. And I just watched her. And I continued to do the same thing. Maybe I add a little bit more seasoning from hers. She used to pour fried bacon grease over her greens.
Ooh.
I don't do that. Because you have to watch your health too. So I try to cook a little healthier, so they'll taste good.
Yeah. So 13. And Reverend
12,
Walker was
12.
in that.
I'm
Or
sorry, it's 12 of us.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And did you all cook, or just?
Well, yes, I have some brothers that can really cook. My brother, Reverend Walker, he's cooking now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all the girls and some of the boys cook good. But I was one of those that really stayed in the kitchen, I think, more than any of the rest of them.
Yeah.
My older sisters, maybe they did too, and I just didn't. I didn't see it. But I used to watch her cook.
So did you grow up in the South?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
In where?
In Illinois.
Oh.
East St. Louis, Illinois. I always say St. Louis, but it's a bridge dividing the two cities, St. Louis and East St. Louis.
Okay. So Laverne, we are this whole Greens Cook-Off is sort of about trying to find out from people what they think the community or the neighborhood in Rondo and Frogtown, what it could use to make food access better for everyone. Do you have any ideas about that?
It would be nice if they can start off by growing their own vegetables, which is much more healthier. Like where I'm living, I don't know what kind of dirt they use, but the vegetables come up just perfect, and there's no chemicals on it. No chemicals at all, and we don't have to worry about the bugs. And I was waiting for the bugs to start coming, eating on them, but no. The greens, they squash, zucchinis, they grow everything here.
Wow. Do you have anything to do with the garden at Morningstar?
No, just some of the other people.
Okay.
No, we have some good gardeners there.
Yeah. And across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have went over there and got some of the things that we didn't have here. Especially green tomatoes, fried green tomatoes.
Let's get your recipe for that too.
I have some green tomatoes if anyone needs some, because I don't think they're going to ripen at this point.
I'd saved mine too long, kind of like the collards in there. Shot, I had fruit flies. Anyway. So, is there any other stories you'd like to tell us about, or any other food stories, funny stories, any suggestions?
Oh, just the food stories. Like I said, I watched my mother cook. Like making stuffings. And, of course, back in those days, they didn't have, the things that we have now. But a lot of experience I learned from her, because she never measured anything. She just used her own judgment, and it just come out perfect.
Oh, that's science.
Yes. They didn't measure food back there. Make biscuits look like they come out of a magazine or a restaurant. Cakes, cornbread, all that. And all they had was wood stoves.
Wow.
Wood stoves and coal stoves.
So she had to put wood and stoke it up before she could start.
And I was just amazed how the food came out. We have ovens and all the convenience where they didn't have that.
Yeah.
But the food was so good and so healthy.
Yeah.
Because we had our own chickens and rabbits. And of course, I have an older brother that my father, his rabbit was a pet, and he killed the rabbit. And my brother cried for days because he was asking for the rabbit, and my dad said, "You're eating it."
Oopsie.
So, it was one that was left in the garden. Maybe it was the bigger one. So, not in the garden, but he had a little, in our backyard, had a fence around where we had chickens and rabbits.
Well, that's so real compared to today, where we pick it up in the grocery store.
So much different.
Yeah.
And I talked to my sister sometime. I said, "Do you notice we never did get sick? And we didn't go to doctors. My mother delivered mostly all the 12 of us at home, or by midwives. And when we got sick, she used home remedies. If we got a cold or something.
Like,
and it
do
worked.
you remember them?
Yes.
Or what they were?
Well, one of them was goose grease.
Really?
Goose grease for chicken pox. Not chicken pox.
Measles?
Where your jaws swell up.
Mumps.
Mumps.
Whooping cough. Was it whooping cough? we caught all of those, but she had remedies that she worked up at home that we got completely well.
Wow.
Hmm. She did. She had made up some kind of oil for, not oil, but something for fever.
Mhm.
Yeah. Toothaches. My mother had all the remedies.
So did she pass those down to you, or?
No, we just remember it.
Yeah.
At least I do. Well, some of my sisters, they remember
Mhm.
some of the things we used to watch her, mix the ingredients. And we used to cry because some of it, the goose grease smelled terrible.
Oh.
And for colds, she would rub that,
Yeah.
the goose grease, yeah, that was for colds on our chest. And then she'll take a diaper and rub Vicks Salve on it, and then she'll tie that around us to keep tied around our neck to keep our nasal.
Passages clear.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Yeah. Those remedies work.
We are thinking about having a cookbook sort of come out of this event,
okay.
and I think we need to include a medicinal section.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I can get it. My older sister, I know she remembers a lot of it, much more than I do.
Okay.
She's in her 80s, but she got a good brain. She remembers good. So, but I can get some of that from her.
Awesome.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Like I said, we got sick and we needed a clean out. She would make us drink castor oil. She would mix up a castor oil mixture.
Uh-huh.
Castor oil and orange juice, I think, and I don't know what else was, and we drink that to clean us out.
You know, castor oil, is that from the castor bean?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
So I thought that was toxic.
No, not castor oil.
You don't want too much of it. I mean, it does. It cleans you out.
Yeah, that's true. Because there are a number of castor bean plants in the Morningstar garden across the street.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. There's, because they have a pretty flower and,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
But she used to buy this. It's a bottle she would get from the drugstore, and then she would mix it up, and then we would all have to drink it at night before we go to bed.
and you were so happy, I bet.
And then for pregnancy, she used Mother's Friend.
What is that now?
Don't know that. Okay, Mother's Friend was a lotion that keep you from getting stretch marks.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And rub it all over the stomach, and it would be make it thin. The skin feels so soft.
Now, is that still around? Did you know that?
It's
Valentine?
still around.
And so it's a brand? It's not a home remedy?
Well, no, it's something you buy.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Should put it over my whole body. I'm getting to that age, you know. Oh.
that, and she had some remedies for earache. We just did not go to the doctor. Couldn't afford it, so she
Wow.
made up her own remedies, and they worked.
And look at you, how healthy you are, and just energetic and everything.
Yeah, my sister's the same way, and she's 80, I think, 80 or 81, and I'm 75.
You never know it. So.
So can I ask? So when did you move to Minnesota?
Oh gosh, I've been here about 45
Wow.
years.
Okay.
Because I'm curious. Partly, I mean, you're wonderful that we get to talk to you because we've been talking mostly to people in the neighborhood around the Morningstar Church. But you've lived now in some really different places, and especially having moved here from Energy Park.
Yes.
Like a piece of what we've been trying to figure out is if we could build more food kind of services or ways people could use food, feed each other. What would that be? Like, well, yeah, so gardens, and then, like, is there other things that really changed
and,
as you moved
you
around?
know, even if you're young or like my age, you have to try to find a way to eat healthier, you know, and I think that helps a lot.
Yeah.
because there's a way you can season food without using all the stuff that's not good for you. Because as you get older, or either there's young people that has high cholesterol, you get a bad heart, and you don't have to give up the foods you like unless you're allergic to it. But it's just the way you fix it. Cooking it.
Yeah.
And I experiment a lot in my kitchen.
Would you be up for experimenting with other people, like in a big group, and
Oh, sure.
sharing?
No problem.
Yeah. Sharing with maybe young people who haven't had the
Yeah. I would
training
love
that
to.
you have, and yeah.
And even at our church, I hope my brother don't hear this. Sometimes we have dinners, and we each have to bring a pot. So the last pot I bought, meal I bought was, I said, can I fix something healthy? So I did. I fixed Hoppin' John's. You ever heard of Hoppin' John?
Beans?
Well, it's got beans, it's got black-eyed peas, and it's got, instead of using that fat sausage, I use Italian sausage, and then you put collard greens in it. You cut up the collard greens, and you put that in there, onions and green peppers, celery, and let's see what else. You can put okra in there.
Sounds wonderful.
And they loved it.
I bet
They
they did.
really did love that.
So we're gonna have to have some recipe cards at this event, I think. So, any other questions? Anything else you would like to share with us?
What else would you like to know?
Well, the thing I'm really, so when you first moved, but also when you've moved like to Energy Park and to here, like what changes the most in the way that you're able to get food, or like what's made it most so you could eat what you wanted?
What'd you say?
Well, what has made it most possible for you to eat what you wanted? Because when you move to a new place, you kind of lose your garden.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna like that. Now, before I moved here, I didn't have a garden, but Morning Star had one. So I used to go up there, and get a lot of the vegetables. And when I found out we each have a garden here, perfect place.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that. And this is my second year. I started a garden my first year, just kind of experimenting, because I hadn't did a garden in a long time. And it was really nice. I mean, last year I always do greens. I never leave that out. And I did string beans. String beans just flourished. Tomatoes. I had green onions. I let the other ladies do the squash and the what's that green? The long green zucchini. And we trade off. We switch up. We share.
Yeah, so somebody has a specialty, and
And they have all kind of they grow like seasoning, like thyme. Yeah, and they got men that's gardeners here too. The men are very good. So
you sound surprised about that.
Yeah, I was. I seen the men out there working on their garden. I was amazed.
Oh.
Because, see, it's a lot of single men live here too, so they plant gardens too. And it makes it nice because they all share. They'll ask you, what did you plant? And then when it starts flourishing and blooming, we share with each other.
So it sounds to me like you're saying what really helps in any place you live is a space for a garden.
Yes.
And the whatever you need to support that.
Yes. And what's so wonderful about this place, they set it up for you. You don't have to do anything. And as people move in, the maintenance guy, he'll put another plot. We each have our own plot. And he put in the dirt. And then all we have to do is plant the seeds. And he got all the equipment by the garage that we can, if we need anything to, to dig the hole to make holes for the different plants. It's right there.
Mhm.
But the maintenance guy here, do all the hard work.
Okay.
By set up the box, and each year they put clean dirt. They put a dirt in there,
Mhm.
and all we do is go out there and plant in April.
So how large is your box? Do you know, like approximate?
You can see it from look out the window there.
Is it like maybe 5 by 8 or something? Is that what it looks like?
And some of them are a little bit bigger,
Mm,
but it's perfect for me. You can plant like a row of maybe about 4 or 5 different things,
okay. Okay.
but it works.
It's a great idea.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Just set people up.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish all the senior apartments had
And,
section. So they just left that section open over there,
mhm,
for the gardens.
yeah. So do you get together with the apartment people and celebrate?
Yeah,
your
we do.
gardens and-
We have a meeting like beginning of April,
Uh-huh.
so we can start getting our whatever we're gonna
Things
plant.
together.
And then when it's over with, we have another meeting because it has to be finished by the end of September. We have to pull everything up.
Oh, wow. So that's kind of early for
It
some
is.
things. Yeah. Hmm.
Not September, I'm sorry.
October.
October.
Oh, okay.
October, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have a dinner, and then it's a what did they call that? A garden dinner that we use for all the things we have grown. We make a meal out of everything that we have grown.
Oh, yum.
So that works out really.
What did you make for that party?
I make the same. I make greens.
Good. I like it.
And the seniors liked it.
Yeah.
Some of them had never tasted them before.
I have to admit, I have never tasted like greens prepared by somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
No.
you love 'em.
I mean, in a restaurant or my own, maybe. Actually, I tried them. We had some Annie Van in the children's garden who fixed some greens for us. Those were good.
Okay.
But yeah. So I'm really looking forward to this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good. And like I said, if you cook right, then you have your piece of cornbread to eat with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about this morning. Because we're going to have little sample cups for everybody that comes, tasting each pot of greens. And I'm thinking, are they going to want cornbread with their samples?
Yeah.
You might have to do
they
it on
do.
that on a little plate on the
Either
side.
you can make, someone can make like a 9 by 13. If I'm going to serve a lot, because usually when my brother, that we have a dinner at the church, I always take cornbread. So I use a 9 by 13, and then I just cut it in kind of small squares. Just kind of go down the pan,
Yeah.
and then
We are having a caterer come, so there's going to be a meal along with this.
okay.
There's going to be 3 pans of cornbread and chicken wings, catfish,
Wow.
5 cheese macaroni and cheese.
Oh.
But so we're going to start out with this greens tasting happy hour, and we weren't thinking about cornbread in there. But I'm thinking maybe along with their little sample cups, they need a little
They
piece
need
of
a
cornbread.
little cornbread, because especially for African Americans,
Yeah.
they gonna be saying, "Where's the cornbread with the greens?" Because
Yeah.
they usually eat
That's
it.
what
That's
I'm
what
getting
they
the
eat it with.
picture. Yeah.
And
So-
I won't even eat it if I don't have any cornbread.
I wonder if we could do like little,
Just
Yeah,
like
muffins.
have to be a
well,
lot.
like the boiling water skillet cornbread. Like if we
Oh,
just
yeah,
did a little
hot
bit
water
of hot
cornbread.
water cornbread.
So how do we do that?
The hot water cornbread is the hot water cornbread it's time consuming.
Is it?
Yeah, because you got to use a skillet, and it's nothing to make it, but constantly putting the oil. You need something really big so you can get quite a few done.
Okay.
I think it'd be better if you can,
Just slice little.
yeah. And hot water cornbread have to be in a skillet, so you
Okay.
can't
Yeah.
Do it in a pan, a
Mhm.
9 by 13 pan. You have to use regular cornbread. Now you can use some Jiffy corn. Everybody loves Jiffy cornbread mix.
Okay.
You can make that and you can cut that as small
Small.
as you like.
Yeah. I think that's what we're gonna do then, because every cook, I think, is African American,
Oh, okay.
so they're gonna want to have.
They gonna say where the cornbread.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes it taste so much better.
Okay.
You know, when you got some people mash the cornbread up in their greens.
Yeah.
And sometimes I eat mine just on the side with it.
Okay. Phew, well, I'm glad we are thinking about this ahead of time. Not too
Yeah.
far ahead of time, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. Thanks for that.
Yes, I wish I could. Oh, this is still long.
That's okay.
That's okay. We're loving it.
I know.
I wish I could get out of that Christmas party so I can.
Oh, you know what? Come as late as you can. I mean, we're going till 7:30.
Okay.
The judges aren't going to announce anything until more near
Okay.
the end of the evening. We're going to have some other entertainment.
Yeah, I just like activities like that. And
Yeah.
I just wished I'd do soon. I would have never that. My brother always volunteered. I'm always But this
Reverend Walker.
one I would like to be there at the event, just to
Yeah,
be
Well-
among the other people that's cooking.
we would love to have you. So sneak out early on this
Okay.
other thing. Sounds.
But I can do.
Yeah. So thank you.
Can I ask
Stevie.
one
more
last question?
Sure.
Yeah, well, I was so taken. You painted such a good picture of the garden you grew up with. So I'm curious, like, what you missed most, and if you're able to grow that now.
What would I miss?
Well, when you moved away from the garden you grew up with, was there
Oh,
a
when
food
I was
from
at
that?
home with my parents.
Yeah, did you miss something?
Well, I was in my early 20s when right after my mother passed, and I moved. I stayed there maybe a few years afterwards, and then I moved to Minnesota. But I think about the times where we were at home during the holidays, and how she made food stretch, and how she got us well with her going to doctors, and the gardens, how she, they grew the food in the gardens. She did that. My mother did that. And it just amazed me, and I think about that. I said, oh, we were so much healthier.
Yeah.
Because she was, I have to say it myself, she was an excellent cook,
Yeah. She sounds amazing.
and didn't measure anything.
Hmm.
So I miss that, and I think about it a lot. How she used to prepare the food for us, especially on holidays. I used to get a stool and sit there and watch her.
Yeah.
That's how I learned how to make stuffings. Her cakes, I got most of it, but not quite all of it. And my sister, I don't think, want to turn to loose the recipes.
Oh. Well, we've been seeing that too. People are, keep those close to the heart.
Yeah.
So.
Because they had to, they had to watch her because she never, like I said, she never measured anything. She just did it.
Yeah. I suppose she had made these things for a lot of years before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If we didn't have meat, she'd make spaghetti and beans.
Huh.
And beans, and to this day, all my family, my brother and sister, we love those two ingredients. A lot of starch, but it's good.
So when you say spaghetti, does that mean with a red sauce, or does that mean
She made the
noodles?
spaghetti with the red sauce, and we would get so happy because on Sundays was the best we get to eat. We get a little fried chicken.
Oh.
And spaghetti, she made her own sauce, but I remember it being red.
Okay.
And she made that, and she'd cook a huge kettle, not a kettle, but those iron pots full of beans, great northern beans. To this day, we still eat them.
Hmm.
I was at Reverend Walker's, my brother's house yesterday, and I was talking about beans. He said, "What you say that for?" He got him and cooked him some. greens on while I was sitting there.
Oh.
Because that was just, she did that, and she fried chicken in lard,
Uh-huh.
L-A-R-D. It's in the green box. I don't even know if they sell that anymore.
I do.
Yeah.
And we ate fried chicken out of that, and I don't
You know, I think when you combine it with the rest of the food that you eat and it's cultural and you're doing it with people, it doesn't matter if you use lard or bacon grease. It's just it's the whole picture. It's not how we do it. I'm getting carried away here. But not in our society, you know, we focus on one thing at a time. This is bad and then that's bad.
We do.
We need to look at the whole picture.
Yes.
And I think that's, you know, and people enjoying their food is another
Yes.
big ingredient to being healthy.
Yes.
So,
And we enjoyed our food because we had a long square table and we all sat around it and we all had to eat at the same time. And we had the fried chicken, the spaghetti, the Great Northern beans, and this big skillet of cornbread that looked like a cake.
mm.
And we thought that was the best meal you could ever eat.
Oh,
So yeah, it was nice. And you know, you think about those days, because those were good days.
yeah.
Well, thank you. When I go home for Christmas, I'm going to have to bring back some cornmeal. My parents live in a town that still has a cornmeal mill, like a water mill, and a stone that goes around and grinds the corn.
Wow.
You can buy little flour sacks of the cornmeal, and it's real fresh, and you know, it's like half between meal and flour,
Oh, wow.
so it makes really good cornbread.
Sounds really good.
So yes, and won't be able to do it in time for this weekend, but when we gather again
Yeah.
after the new year,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Sounds good.
I always try to stop by there when I visit my parents, because I want to keep them in business, because it's the
Yeah.
best cornmeal you can get. So,
Sounds like Bob's Mill
hmm
or whatever.
but it's a little tiny. I mean, it's tiny. It's like a little shack
Oh,
on the side of this
wow.
pond where they use the water, and it's been going, you know, for 300 years.
Wow.
The things you take up from your parents as you grow up. My mother used to cook fried fish every Friday. To this day, I still have fried fish
Mm.
every Friday.
That
Well,
sounds-
they'll be fried fish.
yeah, there
We
will
do have
be
catfish.
That's good. I like catfish.
Well, Laverne, thank you so much for
Oh, you're welcome.
conversing with us, and I just enjoyed hearing you talk. So thank you.
Oh,
And I'm looking
you're
forward to
welcome.
tasting those greens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, now.
You know, I'm just gonna take a quick look out the window
Yeah.
because
Go
I can
ahead.
see the garden.
You sure can.
There they are.
Can you see it?
Yeah. Cool.
And as you go out the door, it's all the way down.
So we'll take